The morning light gently spills onto the windowsill and a steaming cup of coffee releases its rich aroma. On streets, in parks, and offices around the world, people hold their coffee, starting a new day. From distant highlands to the liquid in our cups, every coffee bean has gone through a long and meticulous journey. This is not just an everyday beverage, it is an art that blends nature, technology, and craftsmanship. The morning mist lingers in the mountains, and the air carries the damp scent of the earth. In the coffee plantation, the branches are laden with deep red coffee cherries, gently swaying in the breeze. Sunlight filters through the tree canopy and casts its rays on the coffee plantation. The breeze stirs the leaves, and the ripened coffee cherries glimmer in the greenery, adding spots of deep red. In the early morning, the workers carrying bamboo baskets gently turn the branches with their fingers, searching for cherries that are full and firm. They carefully pinch the stem with their thumb and index finger, twisting and pulling, and the fruit gently falls into their palms. To ensure that each bean reaches optimal ripeness, workers need to harvest the same tree multiple times, only selecting fruits that are rich in sugar and have the most flavorful taste. In large-scale plantations, mechanical harvesting equipment slowly moves along rows of coffee trees with vibrating devices gently tapping the branches to make the large fruits fall into receiving mechanisms. This method greatly improves the harvesting efficiency, but it can also mix in some unripe or overripe fruits. After harvesting, the coffee cherries are quickly sent to the processing station for initial sorting. The fruits are placed in water tanks, where those with a higher density and sufficient sugar sink to the bottom, while those that float may be pest-infested, shriveled, or underdeveloped fruits. Workers carefully observe and remove the floating fruits to ensure that the subsequent processing keeps the fruits at their best quality. In the washed processing method, the cherries are sent to a depulper, where the outer skin and part of the fruit flesh are mechanically removed. The beans then enter fermentation tanks, where they soak in water for 12 to 48 hours, allowing the remaining mucilage to naturally break down. After fermentation, the beans are thoroughly washed until their surfaces are smooth and clean before drying. The washed process results in a cleaner, brighter acidity, allowing the true flavors of the coffee to be more accurately expressed. Next, the coffee cherries undergo depulping. The traditional sun-drying process requires workers to spread the whole fruit on drying beds, slowly drying it under the sun. The sugar in the fruit flesh gradually seeps into the bean, imparting a richer, fruity aroma and sweetness to the coffee. Each day, workers must turn the cherries with wooden rakes to ensure they receive uniform heat and prevent mold or excessive fermentation. This process takes several weeks, and even slight changes in climate and humidity can affect the final flavor. The modern mechanical drying method accelerates the drying process by controlling temperature and humidity. The rotary drum dryer evaporates moisture in a short period, causing the sugars to quickly caramelize, bringing out deeper caramel and nutty flavors. This method significantly shortens the processing time, but in terms of flavor complexity, it differs from the natural sun-drying or washed methods. Different processing methods determine the final flavor characteristics of the coffee. Whether it's the rich fruit aroma from sun-drying, the clean clarity from washing, or the caramelized texture from mechanical drying, each coffee bean undergoes subtle changes during this stage, shaping the way it will eventually present itself in the cup. The coffee beans are packed into burlap sacks and stacked in warehouse docks, waiting to be loaded onto ocean freighters. The crane slowly lifts and the massive containers are steadily placed on the deck, filling the hold with beans from different regions. The voyage begins and the freighter crosses the equator, traversing oceans, transporting these coffee beans from plantations in South America, Africa, or Asia to factories around the world. During the journey, temperature-controlled storage equipment maintains stable humidity, ensuring the beans do not become damp or spoil due to the long transport. Upon arrival at the Nestlé factory, the first screening process begins. The coffee beans slowly move along the conveyor belt, where intelligent robotic arms precisely grab samples, and infrared scanners detect moisture levels, filtering out beans that are too dry or have excess moisture. High-speed cameras scan the color and shape of each bean to ensure that no damaged or moldy beans move on to the next step. Magnetic separators remove any potential metal impurities, while an airflow sorting system uses density differences to further select the highest quality coffee beans. In the laboratory, cuppers sit around a circular table with coffee cups in hand emitting a faint aroma. They gently swirl the liquid in the cups to release the fragrance, close their eyes, and take a deep breath, savoring the flavor differences from various batches of coffee. Acidity, sweetness, aftertaste, every detail is rigorously evaluated. Only the coffee beans that pass the cupping test move on to the roasting room. The roasting machine slowly turns and the coffee beans begin to crack in high heat, with moisture evaporating and internal chemical reactions accelerating. As the temperature rises, the sugars on the surface of the beans gradually caramelize, and the color changes from light yellow to golden brown, eventually turning deep brown. At around 150 degrees Celsius, the beans emit their first sharp crack, signaling the end of the light roast stage, preserving bright fruit acidity and floral aromas. Continuing to heat, the temperature rises to between 180 degrees Celsius and 200 degrees Celsius, and the flavor of the beans becomes richer, with nutty and chocolate aromas beginning to emerge. This is the optimal time for a medium roast. If the temperature continues to rise to around 220 degrees Celsius, the second crack sounds, marking the completion of the dark roast stage, and rich caramel, smoky, and dark chocolate flavors emerge. After roasting, the coffee beans are quickly transferred into a cooling drum, where powerful fans blow away excess heat to prevent residual warmth from further deepening the roast. Next, the beans are sent to a grinder, where steel blades rotate at high speed, gradually grinding the coffee beans into powders of varying particle sizes. Spray drying technology uses high-temperature air to spray the coffee liquid into a drying chamber, rapidly evaporating the water in a very short period, leaving behind small particles. These particles are larger, dissolve quickly, and have a more robust flavor. In contrast, freeze-drying technology first freezes the coffee liquid and then uses low-temperature vacuum treatment to turn the ice crystals directly into vapor, which helps preserve the coffee's flavor and aroma better. The particles after freeze-drying are smaller, with a finer texture, and when rehydrated, they can retain the coffee's complex layers to the greatest extent. Under a microscope, the particles from spray drying and freeze drying show significant differences. The freeze-dried particles maintain finer textures on the surface, while the spray-dried particles are harder and more uniform. Behind these two instant coffee processes is the perfect combination of technology and craftsmanship. Freeze-drying preserves more flavor layers, while spray-drying imparts a fuller taste to the coffee. Despite the different processes, both aim for the same goal: to make every cup of coffee ready to be enjoyed anytime and anywhere. After these treatments, the instant coffee particles enter the packaging stage. The precise packaging process is completed by robotic arms, which skillfully handle the bottles, place them into packaging bags, and then send them to neatly arranged shelves. Every bottle of Nestlé instant coffee follows an efficient production process on the assembly line before embarking on its global journey. Whether by truck, freighter, or plane, they travel from Nestlé factories to markets in 186 countries across 5 continents. In the busy streets of cities or in small towns far from urban centers, they are always on time on supermarket shelves, waiting to be discovered by every coffee lover. The transportation and circulation of Nestlé instant coffee have become not just a highly efficient global operation, but a connection that transcends time and space, allowing people anywhere to taste the same flavor at any moment.